Okay, so question number one was, how old was I when I got saved? So this is a interesting question. I definitely remember getting baptized when I was like, I want to say 7, but I don't know if that's right. And this is bad because I should really remember, right? But I was really, really young when I got baptized. I've been baptized 3 times in my life. That's a whole different story though. But I was really young the first time I got baptized and I gave my life to the Lord. But I would say that at 13, I had a better understanding for what I was doing. 7 might not be accurate, but I know I was very young. But either way, it was 13 when I actually knew what I was getting into and, knew the commitment that I was giving my life to Christ and stuff like that. So I would say I got saved when I was 13 years old. And I remember just a group of us, young people, giving their life to the Lord around the same time. But I remember that it was, oh gosh. Okay, so sorry about that. My husband actually broke my little thingy. He was trying to get it out the car for me that holds my phone. But anyway, I'll just hold it. Like I said, it was just a really wonderful Sunday. I remember so many young people at the altar giving their lives to Christ. And so the answer is 13. Hey. Question number 2 was, what inspired me to make or create Faith It Fridays? Faith It Friday is near and dear to my heart because I wanted to put something out that was positive, that brought glory to God, where people could hear of other people's stories and how, God is working in their lives and what He's doing for other people. So I thought Faith It Friday would be good because I know sometimes people have stories and they're afraid to share what God has done. Sometimes people have stories and they feel like they may be, their stories aren't as quote unquote big, whatever that means. But you know what I'm saying. Sometimes Satan can trip us up and make us think that our story is insignificant, and that's a lie. So I wanted to make sure that everyone who wanted to had a voice and was able to share with others on my platform about what God is doing, because I'm all about bringing glory to God. I'm always trying to find what God is doing in a situation, whether it be a good one or a bad one. So that's why I created Faith It Friday. I wanted it to be something new, something different, where people can leave their testimonies, where people can watch and be inspired and motivated and encouraged, as I say, to live their best dash for years and years to come. I'm also hoping that someone will give their life to Christ, and also that someone will want to keep going and keep living because they saw what God has done for another person. We know what God does for one, He will do for you, or He will do for another. So I just wanted to create the channel to motivate people to be positive, to just bring glory to God, that someone would be encouraged by it. So that's why I created Faith It Friday. So question number 3 asks if I'm going to write a second book. So I would like to answer that at this time. Yes, the answer is yes. I'm going to write a second book. I'm not sure what it's going to look like right now. I have an idea. I do believe it's going to be different from Are You Living Your Best Dash? It's not going to be a self-help book. I don't believe. I always like to keep things open. I like to plan, but plan loosely because I want God to just give me what He has for me to say. I never want to just say something. I always say, and I always like to abide by, I want to say the thing that He has for me to say. So I would love to write a second book. I would like to write a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th book, a 6th book. And as long as God keeps giving me ideas and giving me things that He wants me to say, I will continue writing. I would like to really get the second book done soon, but I know that this particular one is not a self-help book, like I said, but it definitely makes me dig into my past. It makes me feel some feelings that I haven't felt in a while, and it really pushes me and stretches me beyond my comfort zone to really articulate and verbalize some of the things that I've endured and seen and gone through. But just be praying about that for me, if you will, please. But I definitely want to get it out. It may be 2 years. Heck, I really don't know. It may be a year. I'm not sure. But I do know I want to do it in God's timing. So a lot of people have asked me, am I going to do a second Are You Living Your Best Dash book, like part 2? And I'm going to say that I'm not against that at all. I just don't know if it's going to look exactly like the first one. And what I mean by that is it may have a spin on it, but it may have to do with the dash, if you will. So the answer is yes, I am going to write a second book as long as the Lord says the same. And I will continue writing as long as He gives me the ability and wants me to write. So, yeah. Hey, so I'm back with question number 4. And that is, does the Lord really speak to you? And if so, how do you know it's Him? So that's a really good question. And the answer is yes. I have never heard the Lord audibly. I've never heard Him audibly. But the Lord does speak. And I believe sometimes we overcomplicate it. I believe sometimes we, feel like we got to hear this loud, booming voice from heaven, when usually what it is a still small voice, in your heart. A lot of times God speaks to me through repetition. This is something that I've noticed. I may read a verse out the Bible or whatever, or through my studies, and it'll resonate with me. And then my pastor will preach using the same verse. And then I'll hear the verse again through someone's Facebook or Instagram post, or just in conversation with another person. There's a book that I read called, what's the book called? It's by Charles Stanley. What is the book called? I'll have to look up. I'm drawing a blank right now, but I'll definitely post it in the description so you can check it out if you want. But it's talking about how to hear from God, or is God still speaking? Listening to God, or something like that. But it was a really good book that I read. It was my father's book. I read it a few years ago, and it was really, really good. So he talks about how we hear from God. God does speak. He speaks through His word. He speaks through other people. God may even speak. Well, I'm not even saying that He does speak through worship music, because a lot of the worship music, that if you listen to it, it'll have scriptures and it'll have His word, interwoven in it. And a lot of songs are just scriptures by themselves, but He speaks through other people. He speaks through His word. He can speak to you in prayer. So there are various ways that God speaks, but Dr. Stanley does a wonderful job of outlining how to hear from God. That might be how to hear from God. That might be the title of it. Anyway, I'll post in the descriptions. So yes, God does speak to me. And how do I know it's Him? Because it's not contrary to His word. He doesn't just talk to be talking. When He speaks, it is for a purpose. So I know it's Him because it aligns with His word. I will have peace about it. Your thoughts either come from one of two places, from God or from Satan, right? So I know it's Him when it gives me peace, and it is right in alignment with, what He's been speaking. A lot of times, like I said, it's through repetition. So I think that's pretty much it. So yes, God speaks to me, and that's how I know it's Him. All right, take care. So I just thought of something else, and I need to add this. I believe He speaks to me through dreams. God has given me a lot of dreams throughout my life. Some of them were dreams of comfort. Some of them were dreams of stuff that is going to happen. I hope this doesn't sound strange, and it may sound strange to some, but God definitely speaks through dreams. Also, I believe when we sleep, that is a time of vulnerability where our guard is down. And I believe that, I'll say for myself, I believe that's when God's like, okay, she's at rest. And, even though I'm sleeping, your subconscious never rests. So that is another way that God speaks to me. I think I'm done now. Okay, so question number 5 is, did I attend a higher education institution? So did I go to college or university? The answer is yes. Yes, I did. I went to a 4-year college. I went to University of Akron, and I got my bachelor's degree in secondary education. And I had a concentration in English. So I am actually certified 7th grade through 12th grade to teach language arts. And I actually did that for 6 to 7 years before my family and I relocated. So the answer is yes, I did. I went and I have a bachelor's degree. Question number 6 came from a sweet baby boy. And the question is, do pets go to heaven? And I can't find anything biblical on this. So some of my Bible scholars, if you guys have an answer, feel free to leave a comment. The only thing that I can think of, and I kind of like tried to research a little bit, is in Isaiah where it says it will be prey and predators in heaven. So there will be animals in heaven and they're going to live, harmoniously. They're going to live together in peace or whatever. So I don't know if this is our pets. I certainly don't want to crush any hearts or say yes or no without having any type of evidence or anything to back it up. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. I think I had this conversation with someone not long ago, but I'm not sure if we ever came to a conclusion. So some of my Bible scholars, someone who has like way more knowledge than me about that, if you could chime in, that'll be great. All right. Question 7 was, if you were baptized as a baby, do you think you should get baptized again, older as an adult or older child or whatever? And I want to say this is all up to you. When you're a baby, of course, you are not making the choice to be baptized. Someone made the choice for you. So as you get older and you understand more that, something changed on the inside, something has already taken place on the inside. So now you want to outwardly express, this change that's been taken or has transpired on the inside. And you want to go through that outward expression or that outward symbolism of baptism, then yeah, I would say go for it, because then you are making a conscious choice. If I were baptized as a baby, I think I would want to, as an adult, be baptized again, just so I know that I'm making that choice for me and no one's making it for me. That makes sense. Hey, so for the last question, I was asked, what is the biggest lesson that I've learned in life? There are so many lessons that I've learned in life. It's like really, really hard to choose one. But I would say that the biggest lesson that I've learned in life is that my dependability is not on myself. My dependability is on God. And as soon as I realized that and was able to just let it resonate with me, and just the more I realize I'm not in control, God's in control. And if I just depend on Him and not in the abilities that I think I have or what I think I can do, then I'll be fine. I can't leave it right there though. I cannot leave it right there. Another biggest lesson that I've learned is that people come and people go. And one time I had said this to my dad regarding like a breakup between me and an ex. When he asked me like how I was doing, I said, people come and people go. And he said, man, Mies, you're harsh. And I was like, no, I'm not trying to be harsh. I had just learned very early on at a young age, as like a preteen and a teen, that people are not going to be in your life always. Some people are not going to be in your life always. I always like to say that you have reason, season, and lifetime friends. And I realized at a young age, after I had been hurt because someone was no longer in my life, I realized that I cannot put my faith in people. I can't even rely on myself. I have to rely on Jesus. I have to rely on God, because He is the only one that sustains me. He is the only one who is my stability. I'm not even stable. I mean, I am, but I'm not, because we are human and we have feelings. And we can be fickle. So in order to really just embrace that my greatest ability is my dependability on God, I have to realize that people come and people go, and I can't depend on people. I can depend on God. So that is probably the biggest lesson that I've ever learned in my life. There's so many ones that are like equally as big, I think, or equally as great, but that's the one that I wanted to share with you today. So just as a last little bit for my last question, that's some encouragement. Just realize that you can't depend on yourself all the time. You can't depend on other people all the time, but you can always, and I mean always, 100% depend on God. All right, thank y'all so much for joining in on this Q&A. I hope to do another one. It was really fun. I enjoyed the questions. I enjoyed answering them. I just really enjoyed shooting this. So I look forward to making another one soon. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments or even email me at yourbestdash@gmail.com some questions, and maybe one day I'll be able to do a Q&A number 2. All right, so like I always like to say, living your best dash doesn't mean that everything's perfect, but it does mean that you choose to make the best of everything regardless of circumstance. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Give this video a like. If you think the questions or answers may help somebody, please share it as well. All right, talk soon.